Welcome back. I am unapologetically Eric, and this is the first episode of 2024. You can follow me on Facebook at unapologetically Eric, and of course on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Eric Not Sorry. Before I get started, I just want to say hopefully everybody had a good holiday, good Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year, all that good shit. And hopefully 2024 is treating you well. If not, chin up. It's going to be a long one. This is going to be an interesting year. Okay, so what I want to get into is apparently I'm privileged. Did everybody know that? Because I'm a white guy. I'm privileged. Fuck you, I'm privileged. Eat shit if you believe that. And go fuck yourself, because I am far from fucking privileged. I am so sick and tired of this bullshit on social media, on the news, even talked about in TV shows. Fuck you. Maybe there was a time in the United States when being white or a white male, you had privilege, like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. But in case you haven't noticed, times have fucking changed. Everybody has equal rights and equal opportunity and all that shit. So because I was born a white person, I'm apparently above everybody. Well, I don't look down my nose at anyone regarding anything, whether it's their skin color or what country they were born from or their religion. I'm not above anybody. So anybody that tells me I'm privileged, suck a fucking dick. Go fuck yourself with that dick. I am so fucking tired, and I'm sick and tired of hearing it. It's total bullshit. So you're trying to tell me that the soul that was put into my vessel is privileged, but yet a soul that goes into a non-white vessel is a victim? No. That's bullshit. Are you trying to tell me that, players that play in the NFL and the NBA, because let's just face it, the vast majority of people that play in the NFL and the NBA in this country are not exactly of the light skin tone? Are you trying to tell me that their kids aren't privileged? That they don't have a leg up on me when I was a child? Bullshit. Of course they do. Do you think Deion Sanders' kids had to, want for things? No, of course not. He was gifted with a tremendous talent and worked his ass off to play in the NFL and Major League Baseball to make millions of dollars. LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Again, do you think that their kids aren't privileged? Of course they are. If we're talking this mindset, because daddy made millions and millions of dollars. Again, a God-given talent and a lot of hard work. That's what got them there. And they've made buco bucks. So do you honestly think that their kids are underprivileged or they're victims? No. Bullshit. They can do whatever they want. They can have whatever they want. They can go to whatever college they want. They don't even have to fucking work if their parent allowed that. Do you think I had that? Do you think many of my white friends had that? Fuck you. No, they didn't. Again, yes, there was a time in the United States, if you were not a white person, you were a second-class citizen. Anybody that has taken fourth grade history knows this. Duh. But times have changed. Things have changed. Well, Eric, there is still injustice. I'm not saying that there isn't injustice. I am not saying that there are companies out there that won't hire people because of certain things, even though it's against the law. But people will people. Just like murder is against the law, but newsflash, people still kill people, rape is against the law, it still happens. So even though it's against the law to deny opportunities based upon, we all know the list, right? Do I have to? I don't have to go over the list. We all know the list. Even though there are laws prohibiting it, people still will defy that. Of course. But now in 2024, well, technically last few years, the pendulum has swung hard the other way. I have covered this in a previous episode where justices or judges or appointees in politics were everybody was told, the public was told that the next person that is going to be appointed is not going to be somebody white. It's going to be a person of color, predominantly a woman of color. So immediately, as I've stated before, that's discrimination. That violates the fucking law. It's not the right person for the job, it's the non-white person for the job. So the pendulum is swung the other way. So now the racism is towards whites. Now I know some people are going to, they're just getting their comeuppance. Does anybody really say that anymore? No, I don't think so. But I understand that mindset, but it's the wrong fucking mindset. You know, you take 10 punches to the face, and now finally you get to deal 10 punches back. Well, how is that going to mend any fences? It doesn't. It just keeps the hate and the angst, it keeps it at a high level. Now, yes, the pendulum, rightfully so, deservedly did swing back to give opportunities for education and employment to everyone. Nobody is arguing, well, okay, there's probably half of a percentage of the population that argue that, but for all intents and purposes, nobody's arguing that. Yes, everybody should have an opportunity. But now, especially with DEI, if you don't know what it is, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, which means you are going to be given the opportunity or a job, not based on skill or merit, but based upon your skin color or your religion or some other bullshit. This is affecting a lot of aspects in this country, especially the airlines. If you get on an airplane, you're going on vacation. You're like, fuck yeah, Vegas, here we come. Do you want to know that the person in the flight deck behind the controls flying that aircraft was hired because they're the best pilot? They were skilled. They have many, hours behind the flight stick. No, people are now being hired specifically because of their skin color. How would that make you feel? Now, I don't care if my pilot is black or Asian or Jew. I don't care. I want them to be the best skilled pilot. I want to get to Vegas. I want to get to my destination. So would you feel comfortable knowing that the person that was hired to fly the plane was hired based upon some quota of bullshit? Or would you be more comfortable knowing that the person that's flying the plane was hired because they're a fucking good pilot? I'm the latter. I don't, like I said, I don't give a shit who's behind in the cockpit flying the plane, as long as they are skilled. If they are hired because of a quota or something, that's fucking terrifying, to be honest. To be frank with you, that scares the shit out of me. Sorry. That's total bullshit. The pendulum has swung back too far. Way too far. And people are just openly racist. You, because you are a white man, you're privileged. Eat shit. Do you want to know what my fucking privilege is? Here, let me give you a quick synopsis of my fucking life. Grew up lower middle class. Mom and dad had to work. I was a latchkey kid. Gen X, bitch, fuck your feelings. It was nice. I could come and go pretty much as I pleased. I still had to do my studies and whatnot, but I wasn't the brightest kid in class. But, you know what my privilege, my wonderful white privilege got me? Sitting having breakfast one morning, hearing my dad tell my mom that he doesn't love her anymore, and he wants to leave. Yeah, isn't that awesome? My white privilege got that, gave me that before school. I had to fight back tears all day. It was glorious. I'm so happy I'm white. I had to work really hard for the shit I have. And I don't really have much. Luckily, I have a roof over my head and electricity, the normal things that most people have. But I don't have a boat. I don't have a yacht. I don't have a second home. I'm not a member of a country club. No, I scrape by every fucking week. Every fucking week. And there are some weeks I'm like, well, you know what? That bill's not getting paid because that one's got to get paid. Yeah, my fucking white privilege. Awesome. Lick my nutsack with that bullshit. Also, I'm an addict. I'm not going to get into details, but I am sober now. But I have had issues with addiction throughout my life. Yeah, my white privilege gave me that. Can I get a refund? Because I don't want that. I don't like fighting that demon every once in a while. When life starts stressing me the fuck out, that demon starts tapping on my shoulder. Hi, motherfucker. Remember me? Yeah, no. My white privilege, awesome. Yeah. Oh, wait, and I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's a lot of people out there dealing with that. But this is my story. This is my truth, right? Isn't that the way the fucking bullshit goes now? My truth, my story. Now, my hard work did give me some advantages. When I was 19, I had a job. A job where I got yelled at every day. It was awesome. Until the point where I almost threw the foreman off the roof. Yay, my white privilege almost got me a murder charge. Yay! But instead of doing that, I decided, fuck this job, I quit. Now, I was lucky. Everybody gets lucky and gets chances and opportunities in life. Mine, I had a relative that worked for a company, and they needed somebody for an entry-level shit job. Prepping parts and cleaning stuff. And I'm like, well, I need a fucking job, so get it. I'll take it. If I didn't work hard and if I didn't have a good work ethic, I wouldn't have been given that opportunity. They would have been like, yeah, I'm not gonna hire my family member because they're gonna be a fucking schlub and they're gonna make me look bad. No, I worked hard through my life, my young life at the time, and so I was given that opportunity and I excelled because I did not want to make them look bad. So every day I showed up on time. I busted my ass. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And I did my job. And 26 years, almost 27 years later, I'm still in that same career. I was taught a trade, and I've been doing it since. But if I didn't show any kind of effort, I would not have been given that opportunity to learn that trade. But so many people, well, it's all because you're white. Fuck you, it is. I worked hard for that shit. I wasn't taught how to do my job simply because I pulled a card out of my fucking wallet. Just like you are not denied opportunities because you pull a card out of your wallet. Eat shit. I worked hard for what I fucking have. And if you don't have nothing, you ain't working hard enough, bitch. Now, yes, there are people out there that are born into shitty situations. Nobody can deny that. Nobody. Some people will never know who their father is. Yes, my parents divorced, but luckily for me, my dad is still in the picture and even is to this day. I get to see him, talk to him, so on and so forth. Some people, they don't get that luxury, whether it's because dad skipped town or maybe while mom was pregnant, dad got into an accident and died. And that's tragic. And I feel for y'all if that's your situation. That sucks. Some people are born to a woman that is, yes, women have kids. They're born to a woman that lives in a shitty situation, whether it's a crime-riddled neighborhood. Maybe mom's an addict. Maybe it's in a country where the town is ruled by a warlord. Obviously, I have no control over that. Newsflash, no white person has control over that. That's just the luck of the draw. It's a shitty situation. There's people in the world that they don't know where their next meal is coming from. They don't know where their next clean water is coming from. Deodorant, there's people in the world that don't even know what the fuck that is. Perfume, no clue. So consider yourself lucky if you live in a first world country where you know what that shit is, what soap and hot water feels like. But wait, that's privilege. Well, I'm sorry, if you live in the United States, you are already privileged regardless of skin color. But again, there's injustices. Okay. If you believe there are injustices, and I'm not going to argue that point. I know there is. It's life because people fucking suck. Then you need to vote. Well, no matter who I vote for, nothing's going to change. Well, with that shitty attitude, you're right. Nothing's going to fucking change. It's going to take a long time. You know, there was a time in this country where the vast majority of the populace thought slavery was A-okay. Until times changed, minds changed, hearts changed, and laws changed. Through election, it took time. It took a long time. But minds finally changed and laws changed because people realized, wow, this is kind of fucked up, right? Of course. Just like women weren't allowed to vote for a long time, but people pushed their legislators and their congressmen and elected people that supported the right of women to vote. And oh wow, laws changed. So if you think there is injustice today, which again, I'm not going to deny, vote. Contact your local legislator, contact your congressman, your senator. Well, they're never going to respond. Odds are they're not. But that's something you should use to your advantage. If you contact them and they don't respond back to you, guess what? Don't vote for the motherfucker. When re-election comes, tell them, hey, you know what? I had a justified grievance and you fucking ignored me. I'm going to contact the other people that are running to see if they will contact me. And listen to my voice because this country is we the people. So if you have a gripe, be heard. Now, I can tell you protesting, that also helps. Not blocking traffic, that doesn't help your cause. It makes people hate you. Also, I said, it's okay to protest. Have signs and chants, that's great. But what I often see, not just on social media, but also on the mainstream news, is rioting. Rioting does not help your cause. If there was a police shooting or a ruling in a high-profile case that you are very angry about, okay. But rioting doesn't help your cause. It makes you look like an asshole. When people see buildings burning, businesses being destroyed, and people looting, it doesn't help your cause. So if you're trying to say racism is still real in America, stealing Louis Vuitton bags in the name of justice does not help your cause. It just fucking doesn't. It makes you look like an asshole. In fact, if there's anybody out there that has not so conventional views on people that are not the same skin tone as them, they'll just point at the TV and go, see, exactly what I've been saying. They all the same. It's not helping your cause. It's really not helping your cause. I have no problem with people protesting, whether I agree with your gripe or I don't. Protesting, voting, having your voice heard, that's awesome. And I will support you 100%. Unless you tell me I got white privilege, and then I'll tell you to go fuck off. Because, no, I fucking don't. You are not a fucking victim. If you were born in a shitty situation, that sucks, man. It does. I feel for you. But there are people that have worked hard to get the fuck out of there. I mean, I've heard stories of professional athletes and actors and actresses. They're famous. They're wealthy. Their bank accounts are fat. And their backstory, single family home, abuse, adoption, abusive adoption homes, shitty backgrounds, but they used that as fuel to improve themselves and improve their life. Now, I know not everybody has that. I mean, some people have said to me, "Well, you grew up in a middle-income family, low middle income family, low, okay, low. We didn't have a new car every 2 fucking years, okay, low." But okay, I grew up in the suburbs. You don't know what it's like to deal with gang shootings every day. You're right, I don't. And I'm waiting. And I'm not saying growing up in the inner city isn't fucking dangerous or scary or stress inducing. I know it is. I don't have to deal with that to know that. To be a parent and worry that your child may get shot on the walk home from school, or to be that student, that 12-year-old walking home from school, avoiding, a gang that sits around on a corner and trying to, push you into a fight or to deal dope or get shot yourself. Yes, I did not have to deal with that, and I don't, thankfully. My soul got lucky. I did not pick that. Just like you're suffering through that, you didn't pick that either. Hopefully you survived it, or if you're dealing with it, you survive it. Of course, I hope that for you. But to say that you're a victim and I'm on a pillar on the top of my ivory tower, that makes you a fucking douchebag. Simply because of what vessel I was born into. Eat shit. Eat dog shit. And when it comes to the inner city, well, there's not a lot of opportunities. Would you want to invest money in there? Would you want to put up a business in some area that's riddled with crime and drug, open air drug use, people shitting in the streets, literally shitting in the streets? And do you want to take your hard-earned money and get a bank loan and invest it into a business in an area like that? No. So there's a stalemate. People want opportunities in situations like that, but nobody wants to invest the money because it's a shitty situation. So it's a stalemate. Nothing will improve. It will only get worse. And then you have young people that they see their friends and family that don't live past 30, or they're in jail by the time they're 20. And the allure of, dude, why would I get a fucking job making $10 an hour, even $15 an hour, fight for 15, fucking idiots. Why would you get a minimum wage job when you can deal drugs and make $1,000 every, a weekend? Yeah, granted, you could get shot or stabbed or arrested, but the allure is, dude, I could sit out here for like 6 hours and make $1,000. Why the fuck am I gonna go flip burgers, bro? I get it. If I lived in that situation, it would be kind of tough to fucking say no to as well. But you can't use that as a crutch. Well, I was born, and this is all I know, man. That's it. Okay, and so I don't get it. So because I'm white, I lucked out. Well, what about the people like live in like Appalachia, in the hills of West Virginia and Virginia? Yeah, there's no poor white people out there. I mean, I've heard through my whole life, white trash in the trailer park. Yeah, there's a lot of poor white people out there as well. So, are they still gifted because of their skin color? Because if somebody that was born in Appalachia in a trailer park filled with flamingos, gotta have the flamingos. That's homage to my wife. She loves them. Anyways, but if they're born there and everybody's high on oxy all the fucking time, and meth, Their teeth are fucking falling out. There's no jobs. There's no opportunity. It's squalor. It's filth. The roof is always leaking. Your clothes are always dirty. But you're white, so you still have a leg up on Jamie Foxx's kids. Really? Really? Eat shit. Talk like that does not help race relations in this country. If I was ever at a party and there was someone there that talked to me about white privilege, I would have to fucking leave because my white privilege is going to get me in jail because I'm going to knock a motherfucker out. Because it's horseshit. That is some racist shit. To automatically assume, based upon someone's skin color, that they're better than you? That they had more opportunity than you? That's fucking retarded. That is stupid. What a horrible mindset to have. If you out there want race relations to go back to the way they were in the fucking 90s in this country, what the fuck happened, man? I remember, back in the 80s, people, were not, they didn't have the mindset of like the 40s, but the 80s, everybody kind of still was saying what they did back in the 80s. But then the 90s hit, man. People were like so chill with each other back in the 90s. People would go to concerts and vibe with all sorts of skin colors and religions and males and females and straights and gays. Everybody just chilled. What happened in the last 10, 15 years? What happened? Everybody used to be fucking cool. And now we're at each other's throats again over race and pointing fingers that because you're white, you have an advantage over me, or because you're a man, you have an advantage. What the fuck happened, man? What happened? No, I blame Obama. Okay, blame Obama. What do I know? I'm not going to blame Obama. I didn't fucking like him. I really didn't like him. But I'm not going to, unless somebody brings something to me as fucking etched in stone proof that Obama's responsible for the decline of race relations in the United States, I'm going to say, okay, whatever, dude. Well, it's all Trump's fault. Yeah, sure, okay. Again, if you grew up or lived through the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. You would go to a party. You didn't know half of your friends, but they would have some Spanish friends, some black friends, maybe a Hasidic Jewish friend. And you're like, oh, shit, you got some cool friends, man. You'd sit, you bullshit. Maybe you'd like some of them because they were cool. Maybe you didn't like some of them because they were like, I don't know, they got an inflated head, right? You vibe with some people and you don't vibe with others. That's life. But then that's how life was with race relations in this country in the 90s. Things have taken a fucking nosedive. I want to go back there. I want to go back to that. I want to be able to go to a party and hang out with people and not worry about what I'm going to say or watch every word because I'm unfiltered as a motherfucker. But I don't want to cause static for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I am high as shit on caffeine right now, and that's it. But I want to go back to those days. But now everybody's got a hair across their ass, a chip on their shoulder. You walk in the room and you immediately have to scope the room and go, oh yeah, I'm not going to hang out with that person because of the color of their hair because I know they're probably going to talk to me about how meat is murder and, they wear a pink pussy hat on their head or some shit. Nobody wants to deal with that. Everybody just needs to fucking chill and realize that just because somebody is born in this country or in a different country in a certain skin suit doesn't mean they have a leg up on you. If you believe that, you have been fucking lied to. Whether it's your teacher or your professor, God forbid a professor, you have been lied to. Like I said, look at the NFL and the NBA in this country. Hell, even the Major League Baseball. The demographic is pretty mixed in Major League Baseball. But in the NFL and the NBA, overwhelmingly, it's not white. So do you think that the kids of those players are disadvantaged compared to the average suburban white household's kids? Because if you believe that, you're an idiot and you have been severely lied to. You have been fucking brainwashed to believe horse shit. Don't be a dumbass. That's not true. That's not real. Again, I've already stated, yes, if you are born in the suburbs, you don't have to deal with crime mostly every day, unless, of course, you're getting your ass beaten by an abusive parent. But you also could be born in the inner city where you got to deal with crime on the streets, but you got a loving household. So who's got the advantage? Who's got the disadvantage? I don't have an answer to that. Nobody thinks of that shit, right? You know, a mom working 2 jobs, a dad busting his ass, but you got crime in the street, but you're home with a loving family. I think I would say that's an advantage over getting your ass kicked every day because, you looked out the window too long. People beat the shit out of the kids for stupid shit. Stop looking at people and immediately judging them based on their skin color or what they're wearing or their hair color. I know it's hard. It's hard. Like I already used the example, somebody with purple hair or pink hair or something. I mean, that's usually the first assumption is, here we go. This one's going to tell me, wants to chew my ear off about how whaling is bad and how veganism is amazing. But maybe not. Maybe not. It's hard. It's hard not to judge, but to immediately look at somebody's skin color and assume that they're better than you or had more advantages than you, that's just fucking foolish. That's a horrible mindset, like I said. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I think I got my point across. But Eric, shut up. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I'm tired of hearing it. Work hard the best you can. Life is going to kick you in the balls from time to time. Or in the sniz, whatever you got. Life is full of hurdles. And sometimes there's walls. Well, you got to figure out how to jump over that hurdle and climb over that wall. And when somebody slams a door in your face, fucking make a new one. Regardless of why the door was slammed in your face. It doesn't matter. Well, that job won't hire me because I'm not white. Well, then do you want to fucking work there? Do you? I know I wouldn't. I would feel awkward as shit if I was hired based upon some bullshit, not based upon my talent or skills. So go a different avenue. Go a different direction. Find a way around the wall. You don't have to bang your head against it. But I am far from fucking privileged, even though I am a white, cis male in America. Take that shit and shove it up your ass. So until next time, thanks for listening.